With the last stimulus bill, Congress passed the Copyright Alternative in Small Claims Enforcement Act. Is this good news for small creators? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to LegalDrone, where we talk about drones and other tech stuff. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Before we begin, as always, this is not legal advice. I know this is a mainly drone-focused channel, and I get it, but copyrights are important for drone users. You take pictures all the time, you make videos, and you should know about copyrights. That is why I am doing this video. I'm going to divide this video into three major topics. First, I'm going to define copyright. Second, I'm going to discuss how social media handles copyright infringement. And finally, I'm going to discuss how the CASE Act will help small creators, if it will help them. So let's get right into the video. So let's start with the definition of copyright. So copyright is basically the exclusive rights to the creator to make copies of its works. That was the original definition. Today it's a much broader definition, but in a nutshell, it's basically that. I'm going to focus in the federal copyright law because states may have their own copyright laws about moral rights. The federal copyright law focuses on pecuniary rights or monetary rights. So anything that has to do with the distribution of a protected work will be covered by the federal copyright law. So the first thing that we have to understand is that you don't need to register a copyright to have a copyright. Registration is not required to get copyright. You have a copyright since the moment you fixate your work in a tangible medium. And fixation and a tangible medium are two very important topics of copyrights. I'm not going to get into detail. I'm just going to give you a few examples of what fixation is and what a tangible medium is. So first, let's say that you are using a drone or a camera and you take a picture. Once you take the picture, that picture is recorded into the internal memory of the camera drone or into a memory card. So at that moment, that picture is fixated. And is that a tangible medium? Well, yes, because you can share or you can transfer that digital file to other people. The original fixation thought was that if you're making a painting and you are putting paint on a canvas, well, that was something solid that you could sell it or you could give it to other people. So it's tangible. You can exchange it for something. And that is the most important thing about copyright, because it has to be fixated and it has to be a tangible medium. You have to know that ideas are not copyrightable. You cannot copyright ideas or thoughts. You have to fixate something in a tangible medium in order to have it protected by a copyright. You don't have to publish the work, because copyrights are for unpublished and published works. If you have, let's say, 1,000 pictures that you have taken with your camera, you have copyrights for all those pictures. So within the copyrights, you have the rights to reproduce your works, you have the rights to distribute your work, you have the right to create derivative works, you have the rights for public performance, you have the right for public display, and you have the right to reproduce phono records if you are making music. There are things like moral rights, like the attribution right, the right to attribute a work to a author. Those are moral copyright. Those aren't monetary or pecuniary rights, so they are not covered within the federal law. Let's say someone is attributing your work as theirs. You could pursue a federal claim if they are infringing one of your copyrights. You can pursue a copyright federal claim. You have to know that in order to get things like statutory damages under the federal law, you still have to register your work in order to get those kind of damages. And finally, I want to say something about derivative works. So let's say that you take a picture. Let's say that you edited that picture. So now you have a raw picture and an edited picture. The edited picture is a derivative work of the original picture. And they both have copyrights because they are two different works. But the edited picture is a derivative work of your original. So you have that right if you are the one doing it. But if someone else sees your picture and they edit it, they are infringing your right to make derivative works. So that is a very brief definition and a few examples of what a copyright is. So now let's move on to how social media handles copyright infringement. So copyright infringement is basically when someone uses one of your exclusive rights without your permission. So let's say that someone is distributing your pictures, then that is a copyright infringement. They are infringing your distribution rights. It's very easy. So let's say that you uploaded a picture to your Instagram page and someone sees that picture, they do a crop and they upload it as theirs. Yes, there is the moral right of the attribution of the creator, but there is also the distribution. Now, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they all have their own terms and conditions, and under their own terms and conditions they have something that it's called copyright infringement. And the way that they handle copyrights in social media is something sort of internal, but it's also under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I'm not going to get into the details of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, but what social media can do is that they can strike the post, and that is mostly what they do. If you tell them, well, this is my picture and this person uploaded at his, they will investigate, and if they find out that there was copyright infringement, they will strike down the post. If the person that the post was struck down does this, in a regular basis, the social media outlet may strike down the account, may suspend the account for violations of their terms and conditions. So small creators have this alternative when it comes to social media. But let's say that someone takes a picture of you from your social media account and uses it for their own business. Then you will have a problem, because it doesn't matter if you report that to the social media outlet, they are not posting it on an account, so the post won't be stricken down, or the account will not be suspended. And that is a problem that most creators have. Now is where we come to the third part of the video. How does the CASE Act help small creators in protecting their property against these people? So the main problem that small creators have is that a copyright claim can be expensive. If someone is using one of your pictures, then it might not be viable to file a federal complaint on copyright, because it's gonna get expensive. It's gonna be hard for you to find a lawyer that takes your case. So when it comes to claims of copyrights, you probably need a specialized lawyer, and these lawyers might not be open to get your case for contingent fees. They will charge you by the hour, and this is going to get complicated for small creators because small creators don't have the money to pursue a claim at federal court, because ultimately in federal court it will come down to a jury trial, and jury trials are really expensive. The other alternative is a cease and desist letter, but if you get a cease and desist letter, you have two options. You can recognize that you are in violation and say, okay, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to cease and desist from doing what I was doing, or you can ignore the letter. And what you're going to do if the person or company ignores the letter, then the other option is filing a complaint. So now we're in step one. But what the Case Act does is that they create a small claims court for these types of violations. So it's going to be violations with a limit of $50,000 per claim up to $30,000. So let's put an example. So let's say that you took a picture and someone is using it now in a billboard, and you saw that picture in a billboard and you want to file a complaint. So now you will have the ability to file complaints for those types of violations. The limit is going to be $50,000 per infringement and $30,000 in total, per case. So you could have, let's say, 2 infringements in the same claim, each of them up to $50,000, or you can have 3, $10,000 each. So you decide how much damages you are going to request, because ultimately the small claims court is going to decide how much damages you are entitled. But the thing is that these courts are going to be part of the United States Copyright Office, and how they will work out the small claims court, we don't know. At this moment, we don't know how this is going to work out. In reality, we don't know how this small claims court is going to be working out, and how are they going to decide whether there is infringement or not, because we will have now a panel of 3 judges from the United States Copyright Office making decisions about how the defenses in copyright cases like fair use or independent creation. And how fair use works, it's complicated. Fair use is a defense that many people arise when they are in a copyright case, and fair use has been interpreted by many courts, and there is no straight black and white definition of what constitutes fair use and what doesn't. So this is going to be a problematic thing, but ultimately I hope that this helps small creators, because small creators are the ones that suffers the most when it comes to copyright infringement. Because if you have a company that is making a motion picture, this is a really big company. They have money to pursue claims about copyrights, but this small creator doesn't have the money or the time to pursue a copyright claim. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please hit that like button. If you wish to subscribe to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you want to see more drone videos, you can click